I'm thinking of tonight kind of like a party, and that's to be expected of METALITE. I think party is, in fact, an apropos descriptor for this group. They are, whether you look at them from a showcase or entertainment and isolation viewpoint, they are a thrill ride to humor. A dominant name in the modern metal territory for me, certainly on many replays I've given their work, and I'm nearing my 1-year anniversary of fellowship and introduction. I think back again to early January, and that's where we started, just a couple months away. If that's funny, I've never thought about that before. I think Expedition 1, it's set for January of 2024, I believe, so that kind of marks the year anniversary. That's hilarious how that worked out. But that'll be a fun day. I mean, it's kind of like, maybe it'll be a number of parties, but not what I expected to have so soon concerning METALITE. I mean, with more singles, I've appreciated that development, but it's becoming a monthly thing. I didn't expect that, and yet here we are again with another METALITE contribution off of Expedition 1, AURORA, which on Tease, again, considering METALITE, who I have an extensive understanding of now in terms of musical employment, I have every track of theirs on my phone, and that's been something I've said before. You know, there are certain groups where I've entered the graces of the artist on connective points. And that was the story of METALITE in the beginning, right? Think of my bridge of access being their front lady, Erica Olson, who I absolutely love in terms of execution. She's a powerhouse in metal. And think back again in our initiation experiences of what would... Well, with Erica Olson, I think I've actually passed the 1-year anniversary because it was Mortemia that introduced me to her so early on for the Lost Horizon collab, which was beautiful. And, you know, per usual, in fact, with Mortemia specifically, I would recommend him, by the way, if you've never engaged with his work. Norwegian-based symphonic gothic metal. Really good stuff. Anyway, I think back, you know, with the collaborative route in particular for the networking process of what it is, and that you can learn all these new names. And as many of you know, I've been self-diving my way into the European foray in the metal world as deeply as possible. And with Mortemia, that's been a key facet to find new names. Mortemia is the initiation and familiar engagement, and all these collaborative artists that hop in on part of the album's philosophy, whether they be the Pandemic Pandemonium sessions or they're now currently unveiling the COVID Aftermath sessions. That's been a wonderful doorway to be like, okay, let's have this be an introduction and then engage further. And with METALITE, that was the story. That's how I learned about them, through Mortemia. And on suspicion, because I was so impressed with Erica Olson's voice and her delivery, again, on a metal edge and her range, I bought all their songs outright. And then I humored a good selection of few, and ever since, we've been enjoying the company of Expedition 1 as it develops together, and it's been a fun ride. AURORA, I think, is going to be a wonderful contribution. And as I said, if you're coming into this, I've said this many times, not necessarily yet, in particular to this engagement, but I've always said music is best enjoyed in company, irrespective to how we approach an independent vantage points. Whether you happen to be a longtime METALITE fan that advances me, of course, I welcome you. I'm sure, though, our levels of appreciation are mutual. Though, of course, yours might be slightly deeper because of duration of time. I'm only, again, nearing that year anniversary. But if you are of initiate standing of where I was not so long ago, I want you to feel welcome as well. You know, again, however we approach. Mutual enjoyment, I think, enriches the musical consumption process. On METALITE, so again, you're on even footing, Swedish-based, that's such a strong facet of metal exploration. Modern metal, power metal, electronic metal, those types of extremes. Really beautiful dynamic, though, with this group and a real electronic dominance I quite love. And with this album, that's been more than evident. AURORA, though, I think boasts quite a promising experience. In our destinations, it is somewhat reminiscent to past Expedition 1 numbers, but I consider that last entrance we had, New Generation, which was a bit of a deviation on mood and expectancy. A bit of a slower number, which I liked, as I said, and impressed me because, in particular, with the softened energy to it, and it was a more impassioned and certainly grounded release. On lyrical exploration, it felt quite contemporary, and that in part was aided by the visualizer it accompanied. But the softened facade to it, to me, one that was a little less frenetic and rapid, gave license to seeing more of that metal stressing as a foundational element. But I could understand, because there is, a wide approachability in terms of metal tastes. I myself do tend to lean more towards the aggressive, though I intentionally maintain an open door. I could understand perhaps it's the faster paced and more aggressive numbers that are of general appeal. And this was something I saw pop in, occasionally in my comment section. And there, of course, in music, there is a permitted allowance of interpretive entertainment, right? That we are each independently and subjectively approaching music on our own tastes. So independent reflection is obviously warranted. I still thought it was a fun number, though, but it was a bit of a departure point for the evolution of Expedition 1. I think AURORA, being informed on the fact that the teaser to this that was circulating on social media over 24 hours quite prominently, I have gotten wind of it. The small window of what was unveiled of AURORA stresses again that harsher root. So if you're really in the mood for that with METALITE, I think you're going to like this one. Based on the teas, I'm already engaged. It sounds quite good. And with METALITE, that's all. They're just promising by default and anticipation. To be expected. But of course, music is best humored mutually, right? And we take these journeys together, specifically, unless otherwise noted, on initiation status. And that's how we approach AURORA today generally. We're going to entertain it together. Right now, in fact, as I prepare the number, hopefully it's ready. Yes, AURORA, our 6th contribution, I think, off of 6th or 7th, I forget what number we're on now. There's been a lot supplied of material so far, again, on Expedition 1. It's coming out on a holiday, no less. If you had told me in advance that METALITE was going to be putting something out this week, which I didn't know about until yesterday, I would have said, okay, I could see the 24th being a possibility, because that number's already being claimed by some other groups. One as well in the Swedish comparable. Anyway, I would have been like, okay, it seems like fitting for after the holiday, because everybody's busy. Well, I mean, I'm somebody that kind of takes the holidays on a more mellow experience. I'm more so just kick back and relax. Kick back and relax / work. Anyway, I take it easy. And what better way to enjoy the holidays than with new music? Anyway, quite a surprise, but a welcome one. And for METALITE, I'm loving Expedition 1 so far. So our newest contribution, again, to be fair to whatever the total is now at this point of unveilings, I'm sure it'll delight. AURORA already has a good setup. Let's broaden out with it. You'll see what I mean about, again, that once that window kicks up, I'll indicate where it is, but when we can discover it, but it's already it's got a beautiful entrance. Let's humor it together. This is it.
Step into the brightness of AURORA.
See what I mean by the higher inflections? And Erica Olsen's vocals are the first entrance for you.
The sky is surrounded by shadows. The wind's blowing hard.
Interesting key flow.
The mystery of transcendence. The cadence of
Let's see if there's a return to the initiation. Bit of a departure here.
brightness. Shimmering streets of light. The song of the sun will give us
Already got invigorating energy though, right?
the surroundings shine so bright, like a beacon in the night. Step into the
Yeah.
brightness of AURORA.
Oh, good layering too. I hear the reduction.
Lead you and guide you through the night. The light in the darkness is AURORA.
Good flow on these choruses. I like it.
Raise the sky and guide through darkest way right through the night.
Some significant drifts.
For you said it's been a
Somewhat experimental, I think. I think they're fair to qualify.
now when we know the meaning, the pieces are in control. We will never fear the magical light that night.
This is one of the harshest ones yet on voice,
From the biggest star
which is interesting with the interplay of subject.
to the deepest world, from a place we've never been.
But it's great though, isn't it? There's our return. Oh, I love it. Ah, man, she's got such a good feel. I think it's the linger and the shifts on the vocals, they're beautiful. One of my favorites in the European territory among female vocalists, and there's many to mention. Erica, go-to. Here's again the ferocity and the vocal command on inflection points and the variation on range. What you just saw as witnessed with the chorus section, that flow. Something spectacular, isn't it? This one has so many different shades of METALITE strengths on key. You don't expect the... Wow. Evolution on key, I wondered. I really like this one. You hope that she's going to be the closure element on voice, man. See? I've listened to so much METALITE at this point that I know, like, you get to those conclusions and it's like, okay, we're going to get to that end climax, and whenever it hits, man. You know, I think back again fondly on that early initiation, the bridge that brought me into METALITE familiarity being Mortemia's work, and that was the first thing I took out of it. Of course, understandable, because Erica Olson was the only one there to judge METALITE's credits, other than the Mortemia voice. And I just walked away from it feeling like, you know, it was such a wonderful experience. That first encounter, man, her range, and again, the power on her voice. So far, on variability within Expedition 1, and not just with Erica Olson's voice, but as well the instrumental, and the key intermixes, the shifts on that, that is our, I think, most diversified release yet, and I'm tempted to say one of the most sophisticated in METALITE's library. There are perhaps shades of the past that fit with that one, but it's with the key specifically, and how we change from initiation, verse, to then chorus, to transitional bridge, to then the next verse. It just, and then toward the end chorus too, there's even more deviations. It just shifts around rapidly. I don't think I've seen that type of exhaustive canvas yet, not to that extent. And I could be wrong on that, but it just feels like such an evolved METALITE number. I really like it though. You still want to get the familiar traits, the synths, the power metal stuff, all of that's there. Strong foundation. And easily understandable experience of walking in. If you're familiar with METALITE, you know what to expect on Roots, and you get that with this number, so that's not all lost. It's not just a piece that's traded in, you know, a traditionalized voice for a whole fresh overhaul on experience. But with that one, you just get such a fun kick. It's incredibly engaging. Don't you like that one? It's just got such a steady flow. It reels you in immediately. And it's funny for a song that, again, especially, I was thinking about this on initiation with the first verse. You consider the image of the aurora or the northern lights, stuff like that, and it's such a beautiful witness of nature that the key on initiation felt, I really like the way we begin to it. It's so soft, and again, it's got that fun pulse to it. Again, incredibly engaging on rhythm. And Erica's voice, when she hits, I think it's the higher E and the D, or it's the ascendant, but especially the E, she just sounds beautiful. And then the layered vocal touch too. It just, their pieces have such a good feel to them. I mean, they're incredibly engaging numbers. And there is, again, a dominant METALITE fret, but this one still feels particularly fresh. But I experience, again, like I said, the enjoyment of the imagined visual, or what's depicted in front of you. The styling of the visualizer is great, by the way. It's very clean. You think of, again, the approach to the Northern Lights and it being such a beautiful experience, and maybe a more positive key fleshing that out, but there's such diametric shifts around that some of the moods, there's a natural disruption that takes place. So it's kind of a piece that's rather, I would classify, I don't think it's a stretch to say it's experimental, at least again on the key variants. It's unpredictable. Not again on the METALITE roots. If you still want the energetic, ferocious, power metal and electronic voice dominated, especially with the synth application, great here, really great here. If you want that foundation, you get that. It's just there's some other elements that put this one in an independent position, specifically on record with the album. I don't... let's see, we've humored again. How many pieces so far? Hurricane, Take My Hand, Disciples of the Stars, Blazing Skies, New Generation. I think it's just been 5 so far. All of those pieces in some way, again, connect back to METALITE, I think, a little more directly. Though, again, there's still, I'm not speaking to them in any ill manner. There's still plenty to enjoy there. This one feels the freshest to me. Certainly on that key intermixing. That's different. this one as a number really clicks. And I'll say, I know it's probably not what they intended, but because the debut of this falls on Thanksgiving, it's kind of funny. Like, I'm in a slight holiday mood. And I'm not saying directly it connects to like Thanksgiving on presentation, but it has like this fun energy to it where you're like, the fun you wish you had on the holidays, even if maybe you're laid back like me, and it's more of a mellow experience. It's kind of like, well, I'm kind of getting that. Just a 3 minute, or how long is this? A 4 minute window? Just a side observation. Like, I'm in a really good mood after coming off of that number. That's what you get with METALITE. Fun energy. It's what I love about them. Or again, if you want to look at it from the perspective of entertainment, you get competent execution on musical craftsmanship. I've said that many times with respect to METALITE in any journey we've taken. In our nearing 1 year anniversary of coverage of them on this channel, I'm looking at that date again when Expedition 1 rolls around. It'll be basically in the anniversary window. Funny how that worked out. Didn't plan it that way. I didn't know about Expedition 1, of course, in time where we started our journey, but just a funny coincidence how it works out. But I love spotlighting METALITE. Really fun number with this one. I like its fresh voice. I really do. Again, the core roots to METALITE are still there. Erica's enchanting vocals, of course. I love hearing it. And the presentation's very endearing, but that key command, it just really sticks with me. And the flow is great too. Fun, dynamic number. I hope you would agree in that too. And again, it's been on the harsher side, so perhaps maybe New Generation, again, I liked that piece, but maybe where again, it definitely drifts on mood a bit to a different extreme. I would imagine that this one, because it is very familiar to METALITE on pacing and a more emphasized power voice, I think this one is going to be an instant click for people like me who happen to personally favorite the rougher side to metal extremes. I would imagine it's going to be a sentiment that you would echo down below. I don't want to speak for you. I'll allow your voice to speak for itself, of course. And if you wish to declare your point of approach with metal, I'd love to hear about it. Longtime fan, initiate listener, what did you think of this piece? Again, I think it's a welcome return to METALITE. Faster than I expected. It's becoming like a monthly thing now that every month we get a new METALITE piece. I don't know if that's what's going to happen in the next 2 months, but one really, because the album's coming up pretty shortly. The window's closing in fast. I remember back to where we were with Hurricane, like we had several months to go. Now it's like, nope, we're reaching that date slowly but surely in the 1 year anniversary window. And that'll be fun when I get there. But METALITE, I love humoring their work. Even more so, I love enjoying them with you, especially on initiation status. It's always fun to humor music that way. And with METALITE, they're always a real treat. AURORA, beautiful addition to our library. But again, I love its fresh voice. Distinctive METALITE roots, but really fun presentation with this one. Can't easily forget about it. Certainly after a first experience, and I would imagine many replays. I can already see that path ahead for this one. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.